Hello everyone, welcome back to Monstack Web Application Development Tutorial. In the previous videos, we have learned a lot about React. We have learned how the app.js is the entry point of everything. And we have learned about how to use one component inside the other. And later with React routers and links concept, we have also learned on conditional based loading of components or loading components at different web pages. Okay, so with this knowledge in place, I think we are ready to get started with implementing components in more details. So I think we can get started here, and let's try to actually complete the create user itself. Okay, so in the create user part, I just want to get started, and then let's remove this text and create a form which enables user to create a user. Okay, so let I'm creating a form. I want to provide a label actually which says username, and then I input text basically which will take username from the user. Okay, so just doing some CSS work here and create a label. This should be very simple label, and next thing can be input. Okay, and obviously the type will be text. It's required. Its class name will be form control, and more CSS property that we can add here is any default value that we want to give. So we will come back to this thing, and on change I want to call a specific method. Okay, so basically I have to keep recording the changes in the label that I can do it in this particular component itself, and I have to also handle the form submit, and that also I will be doing in the same component code itself. So there will be a function here, and there will be a function here on submit. Okay, so we are yet to write that function. Okay, but if we save the file at this point of time without actually writing anything, the application might stop working. Okay, and also in the form we want to give a submit button. So let's create a div quickly for that. Class name would be here, form group again, and another input which is of type submit. Okay, and value could be create user. Let's name the U capital, and then the class name could be the button here, and you can add some more styling. Primary. Okay, so we have done this part. Let's try to store the values of this particular form details, handle the submit, and show some default value, or if you want to show placeholder as well, you can always show some placeholder in here. Just write some text and that will show the placeholder for that particular thing. Okay, so let's write first on change, I guess. So so anything that comes in the value will be stored here in our application. Okay, in your component. So for that we have to create something called as state. Okay, so here this is a functional component. Okay, which obviously cannot have state and all, but this particular component needs to store all the values that will be here in this particular form. Hence this create users makes sense for this create user to have a class based component and not a function based component. Okay, so we can create a state is basically storing the variables related to this form itself. Okay, So first thing we want to do is we want to write a constructor for this particular class which accept props. Okay, props are nothing but basically are the data that we pass from one component to other. Okay, so we'll learn about this, may not be in this tutorial, but I'll post some other tutorial which will explain about props. I am not sure if we're going to use any props as such in this particular tutorial series, but we can learn about more about them in other tutorials that I'll be posting. Okay, so just we need to call a super and we create a state which has username. Okay, and use this cap small. Okay, so let's understand what we did here right now. In the constructor we did the boilerplate code in here. Okay, and then we created a state for this particular component which has a username stored in it. Okay, and this username is nothing but whatever will be typed in the input column. Also you make any changes to this particular value or in the form, this should keep getting updated and handle all the changes and all. Okay, so we are done with this. I think we can use this particular value directly in here so that whenever user is back or whatever is the actual state of the variable gets shown here. Okay, you can use it. So that's how you use it. Now let's create two methods, one for submit and one for onChange. Okay, so we will do onChange. So onChange is basically responsible for binding the value to the username. So this is basically a read operation where value is getting assigned by username. Okay, but how does the user input gets transferred to username? Like what is the write operation? Like from form to here. Okay, I hope I'm making it clear. This is basically from state to form, but how do we handle from form to state? So that will be handled in onChange. Okay, so let's create a method in here, this dot onChange username. Okay, so we are defining a particular method which is going to handle the onChange. Okay, and let's go ahead and define this method. OnChange username basically takes an event. Okay, and the responsible is nothing but just updating the state, and even inside state you just update the username with whatever user has entered. So to extract the data from form, this is the strategy that is used. From the event you get the target, and then from the target you can fetch the value. Okay, so there are actually, depending upon different types of target, you have different style of taking the values. So for a radio button it could be different, for a checkbox it could be different, but for a text field it is e.target.value. Okay, so this is done. And also any function that is created. Okay, so I think we're going a little bit in detail on the React part, but I just want to highlight here is we will not be covering the binding part here because that will be too much of detail, but any method or any handler kind of thing that you define here, we need to tie it to this particular instance. Okay, so for that you have to do this dot onChange username dot bind dot this. Okay, so this particular method gets bind to this class, and at any point of time on this change, this particular invocation knows what kind of, like, which component it is associated with or it is binded with. Okay, so let's similarly create one more method which says on submit, and let's just bind this before itself, on submit dot bind dot this. Okay, so we have found this method also. Let's write on submit method. The on submit method is going to be little bit longer because we also have to post the data to the backend server. Okay, so for that we need to do e dot prevent default default. We'll come back to what prevent default is. Okay, just let's focus on the main stuff that we are trying to do here. So first thing is obviously getting the username from the state object. Okay, dot username. So we created an object which has a property username and its value is going to be from the state object. Okay, now you have to post it to the backend URL. Okay, so for that you have to make use of the Axios, which is going to help us with all the post, get, delete, and all the other operations. So if you remember, our create user is in post request. Let's go back to the routes and check for the user. So as you can see here, the user add request is a post request. Okay, and since we need to do a axios.post and go to a URL which says localhost 5000 / users, which is the model, and add. All right. Okay, and the second parameter is the object itself. Okay, all right. Okay, so that's all. I think the function call will go through, but let's also handle the response to know if there are any errors or not. Okay, so in this case we'll just log it. We'll just do a console.log response.data. Okay, sorry, response.data. All right, I think that's all. And hence with this, our application will post the user data to the backend server and this gets saved. Okay, and once this is saved, I think we can clear the state object itself. Set state. So once this is saved, we need not hold the previous detail in the state object. Okay, so we will just mark it empty. Okay, I think we have done all the work in this particular class. Let's save this file, and yes, obviously there is some break which says on submit there is nothing in here, so let's declare this particular method. And Axios is also not defined, so that's an obvious reason for that. We haven't imported the Axios. Okay, and what else? Cool, I think we hit a jackpot here. So we have created the form. Okay, and this particular form you can enter some data, and at that point of time it goes and gets saved into username state object, and when you hit create user, this particular submit method gets called and the content is getting saved to the database. Okay, all right, I think we should see a working demo of this. So for that we will have to go back and make sure this particular URL is working, and hence let's go back and click create user, and obviously the user will not get created because we haven't defined the routing properly in our application, the server side. Okay, so we're getting a 404. Let's fix this thing. Let's go to server.js. Okay, and here we want to tell server.js about what this /user means here. Okay, so what is this particular /user means? So for that we will just let our application know that we're trying to access this particular thing. Okay, so let's use the routing. Okay, and exercise sizes router equal to require routers exercise. Okay, so we have imported this exercise routing in our server side code, the server.js. Let's also import the user part, user router. Okay, require again router slash user. Okay, so now we want to tell our app.js to use this particular routing. Okay, so anything that comes with exercises should navigate to exercise router. Okay, and anything that comes with slash users should navigate to users router. I think we're done from the server's point of view. We have made the changes here, and now the client should be able to connect with the server at this particular URL. Okay, so we have saved the file. We just want to make sure that server is reloaded. Okay, if not already, just let's restart the server once. And there is slight error in here. Let's resolve this error. It says at exercise js.33. Okay, so there is an error here. Actually, there is nothing called as router. It should be route. Let's restart again. All right, so the DB connection has been established, and if we try to save any user right now, okay, so here we can see adding user. So actually I've added a logger statement in between. Okay, so which will record our adding user step on the server side. So this is the proof that the server has been called from our client API. Okay, sorry, the React or the front end. Okay, so here in the UI part, you can see in the add section, we did a console.log adding user. Okay, so if this particular statement is logged, that means our React application has successfully called the backend application, and I think we should be able to see some data in the database. Let's try to refresh and see if there are any collections. Okay, so we see the mon thing has already mon database has been created, and there is a users collection in here, and let's see if it contains any data. It should, because this is what just got created just now. Okay, and so actually the user was not getting created, so I just restarted the server once again, and the user got created. So I entered a name here, and the user has been created here. Okay, we can see it in the MongoDB Atlas server. Okay, let's try to create one more user. Let's name it as Atul. Hit create user. Okay, and the user should be created. We just need to refresh this, I guess. Okay, so as you can see, the front end thing is calling the backend service, which is again interacting with the database to save our username. Okay, so yeah, we have completed and understood the major chunks of our application, where the UI, the React application, is interacting with the Express.js and Node.js application, which in turn is interacting with the MongoDB server. And hence we have learned quite a bit about the MERN stack, and in the later video we will complete the other parts of our React application and interact with various other APIs and make our application ready for production deployment. So I hope you guys are enjoying the series. Let me know in the comment section if you're facing any difficulty. Okay. Thank you guys. Stay tuned.